Story number 1. Late one evening, while walking home through the dense fog that blanketed the city, I felt an unsettling sense of being followed. The quiet was oppressive, broken only by the sound of my own footsteps echoing off the empty streets. Turning a corner, I caught a fleeting glimpse of a shadowy figure mirroring my pace, always remaining just at the edge of visibility. The fog, once a mere weather condition, now felt like a predator's camouflage, concealing the intentions of whoever was tracking me.
As I quickened my steps, the sound of following footsteps hastened in response, confirming my fears. Panic set in. The streets that I had walked every day had suddenly transformed into an intricate trap. I took a series of turns in a desperate attempt to lose my pursuer, but the shadowy figure matched my every move, its presence a constant pressure at the back of my neck. The city, familiar and safe by day, had become alien and menacing.
Realizing that escape on foot was useless, I sought escape, ducking into a narrow alley I knew would lead to a crowded marketplace. The alley, however, was darker and more claustrophobic than I remembered. Halfway through, a hand shot out from the shadows, grabbing my arm with a vice-like grip. A blade glinted in the dim light, its edge pressing coldly against my throat. The unseen assailant whispered threats with a chilling calmness that paralyzed me with fear. My life hung by a thread, balanced on the edge of a knife wielded by a figure shrouded in mist. In a desperate bid for survival, I acted on instinct, elbowing my attacker in the stomach and breaking free from their grasp. Using adrenaline that I didn't know I possessed, I sprinted toward the marketplace. The sounds of pursuit faded behind me. I didn't stop running until I reached the safety of the light and noise among the crowd. There, surrounded by people, I dared to look back, but the alley was empty, the fog swallowing any sign of my attacker. The police found no evidence of my assailant when they later searched the alley, leaving me with no closure and a lingering paranoia that followed me like a shadow. The attack shattered my sense of security, transforming every walk home into a journey fraught with fear. The knowledge that someone had marked me as their prey, emerging from the fog to threaten my life, was a horror that lingered long after the physical scars had healed. In the end, the true terror wasn't just the attack itself, but the realization that the world was darker than even nightmares could conjure. Story number 2. Rain poured down, blurring the city lights into streaks of color as I hurried home. It was late, and the deserted street felt uncomfortably long. Halfway down, a figure emerged from the shadows, their features hidden by a hooded sweatshirt. My stomach clenched. Instinct screamed, "Run!" but my feet froze. Before I could react, the figure blocked my path. "Wallet and phone," rasped a muffled voice. My heart slammed against my ribs. Panic threatened to overwhelm me, but a flicker of defiance sparked within. "No," I croaked, my voice surprisingly steady. "Leave me alone." The figure stepped closer, the outline of a knife bulging beneath their jacket. Fear gnawed at me, but I held my ground. "I don't have much," I lied, forcing my voice to a conversational tone. "Just my keys and some loose change." Hesitation flickered in their eyes. The rain continued its relentless assault, soaking us both. "Look," I continued, taking a calculated step forward. "Just go. I won't call the cops." Their gaze darted around, searching for something, anything. The street remained empty, the rain the only witness. Maybe, just maybe, they were desperate, not malicious. Suddenly, a car rounded the corner, headlights slicing through the darkness. The figure flinched, their grip loosening on the knife. Before they could react, I sprinted. The car's engine roared, then faded into the distance. Didn't stop running until I reached my apartment building, collapsing against the locked door. My breath hitched, my lungs burning, adrenaline fading. Had it worked? Trembling, I fished out my keys, my fingers fumbling. The click of the lock echoed in the silence, a symphony of safety. Inside, warm light enveloped me, erasing the lingering chill of the street. Safe, I was safe. My phone, my wallet, they were all there. No cuts, no bruises, just the memory of fear and a newfound determination. The mugging attempt hadn't been glamorous, but facing it head-on, taking that calculated risk, had given me a sense of empowerment I never expected. The experience left its mark, a reminder of the city's underbelly, but also my strength and resilience. In the face of fear, sometimes the quiet defiance, the calculated gamble, can be the most effective weapon. It wasn't about being a hero, but about refusing to be a victim, about reclaiming my sense of safety, one rain-soaked street at a time. Story number 3. Subway tunnel air hung heavy with humidity, the screech of approaching trains, the only sound interrupting the silence. My phone, dead as the station at this ungodly hour, mocked me from my pocket. Just a few stops more, then home. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. A figure materialized from the shadows, tall and lanky, shrouded in a tattered hoodie. My gut clenched, instinct screaming danger. He didn't speak, no need for words, when his eyes, cold and glinting like broken glass, spoke volumes. Without a warning, he lunged, his hand flashing towards my backpack.
Fear turned my legs to lead. I stumbled back, adrenaline surging through me. We grappled, a silent struggle in the dimly lit tunnel. His strength was unexpected, his grip like a vice on my arm.
Panic threatened to suffocate me, but a primal instinct surfaced. My knee connected with his groin, a satisfying grunt, his only response. He staggered back, momentarily stunned. This was my chance. I sprinted, heart hammering against my ribs, the echo of his frustrated roar echoing in my ears. My lungs burned, but I didn't dare stop. The platform lights blurred past, a tunnel entrance, a beacon of hope. Just as I reached it, a train roared into the station, doors hissing open. I scrambled in, gasping for breath, the doors slamming shut just as the figure rounded the corner, his face contorted in rage. The train lurched into motion, carrying me away from the shadows and the fear. As the city lights painted the windows, I sank into the seat, adrenaline subsiding into a chilling numbness. My backpack, ripped and scuffed, was still safely on my shoulder. The encounter left its mark, a tremor of fear that lingered even in the safety of my apartment. But beneath it, a flicker of defiance burned. I had faced the darkness, fought back, and survived. The deserted subway tunnel would forever echo with the memory of terror, but also of the silent struggle, the will to survive in the face of fear. The pepper spray remained untouched in my pocket, a reminder of vulnerability. But the dawn had broken, casting a hopeful light on the day ahead. And the next time I ventured into the city's underbelly, it wouldn't be with fear, but with a newfound awareness, a quiet strength tempered by the memory of a struggle fought and won in the silent darkness. Story number 4. Moonlight painted the deserted playground in an eerie glow, the rusty swings swaying rhythmically in the night breeze. Silence reigned except for the frantic drumbeat of my heart, each thud mirroring the growing anxiety gnawing at me. Just one shortcut through the park, then home. Little did I know, fate had a different route planned. A shadowy figure emerged from the jungle gym, tall and imposing, a cloak seeming to billow like a ghostly shroud. Panic threatened to paralyze me, but somewhere deep within, a primal instinct flared. He didn't speak. No threats were needed. His eyes, bottomless pools of darkness, locked onto mine, conveying a single message: surrender. He lunged, a dark blur hurtling towards me. Fear threatened to freeze me in place, but instinct propelled me backward. We collided, limbs tangling under the pale moonlight. His strength was almost inhuman, pinning me to the ground with an overwhelming force. Panic constricted my throat, squeezing the air from my lungs. Then, a spark ignited in my memory. A self-defense class. The instructor's voice slicing through the laughter and sweat. Use your environment. My gaze darted around, landing on a discarded tire swing nearby. With a surge of adrenaline, I kicked out, connecting with his shin. He grunted, momentarily loosening his hold. This was my chance. I scrambled to my feet, grabbing the heavy rubber tire like a makeshift shield. He lunged again, but this time I was ready. The tire met his outstretched arm with a dull thud, sending him staggering back. He glared, his frustration palpable. Yet, in his eyes, I saw a flicker of something else. Fear. Fear of my unexpected resistance. We circled each other, the silence thick with tension. Then, a car's headlights sliced through the darkness, momentarily blinding us both. He hesitated, his silhouette outlined against the approaching light. It was my window. I dropped the tire and sprinted towards the street, the sound of his frustrated roar fading behind me. The car, a late-night taxi responding to a call, stopped with a screech. I tumbled inside, babbling about a mugging, the driver barely needing convincing. As the city lights blurred past, I realized I hadn't relied on any external tool. The memory of the class, the unexpected fight, had empowered me in a way no weapon could. The encounter left its mark, a tremor of fear that lingered even under the safe glow of my apartment light. But beneath it, a quiet strength bloomed. The deserted playground would forever echo with the memory of the struggle, but also of the will to fight back, to use my resourcefulness and surroundings to overcome fear. The faint moonlight still painted the scene in my mind, and the knowledge that sometimes the best weapon is the will to survive. And the next time I ventured out at night, it wouldn't be with fear, but with a newfound awareness, a quiet strength born from the unexpected victory in the moonlit playground. Story number 5. The deserted bus stop hummed with an eerie electricity. I huddled deeper into my thin jacket, regretting my decision to take the late-night route home. Wind gnashed at the exposed metal shelter, amplifying the rhythmic whoosh of approaching headlights. Relief bloomed as I recognized the familiar silhouette of my bus, but it sputtered to a halt before reaching the stop, plunging me back into darkness. Panic gnawed at the edges of my mind. My cell phone was dead. My wallet was misplaced. The only light emanated from the distant gas station across the street, casting long, menacing shadows that danced with the wind. Then, a figure emerged from the gloom, tall and faceless, shrouded in the oily sheen of the street lamp. My breath hitched, frozen by both fear and the chilling realization that the figure mirrored my attire. Jeans, hoodie, and sneakers, an echo of myself, born from the shadows. It advanced, its gait unnatural, limbs twisting at unsettling angles. No words, no threats, just an unnerving silence that amplified the pounding of my heart. Instinct, not reason, took over. I remembered a long-forgotten trick from a childhood camping trip. Misdirection. But this time, it wouldn't just be a feint. With a burst of adrenaline, I sprinted towards the figure, momentarily breaking eye contact. It hesitated, confused by the abrupt shift. Seizing the opportunity, I aimed a flying tackle, connecting with a solid thud. We crashed onto the pavement, a tangle of limbs and fear. The figure, now revealed as a man, wrestled against me, his strength surprising. Panic threatened to overwhelm me, but I fought back, adrenaline fueling my blows. My knuckles scraped against the rough fabric, and a metallic tang filled my mouth. Blood, mine or his, I couldn't tell. Suddenly, the man grunted in pain, his grip momentarily loosening. I scrambled on top, pinning him with all my weight. Fear battled with the desperate need to survive. My hands fumbled for his face, finding his throat. Squeezing wasn't an option, not in me, but holding him there, pinning him down, felt primal, necessary. Then, the gas station door burst open, and the attendant rushed out with a frantic shout. The man beneath me froze, his eyes widening in panic. He mumbled something incoherent, struggling against my grip. I didn't understand, but the fear in his eyes softened my resolve. Reluctantly, I released him. He scrambled to his feet, clutching his shoulder, and backed away. The attendant reached me, concern etched on his face. The man hesitated, then turned and disappeared into the night. The encounter left its mark, a physical ache reminding me of the struggle. But beneath the fear, a new understanding bloomed. Darkness lurked everywhere, and sometimes facing it meant not just confronting shadows, but the raw desperation within ourselves.
The next time I ventured into the unknown, it wouldn't be with blind trust, but with a quiet strength, forged in the crucible of fear, and the knowledge that sometimes the most challenging battles are fought not with weapons, but with the will to survive and the courage to show mercy even in the face of terror.